Welcome, everybody, to the Full Vantage Podcast. My name's Trevor. This is Parker. We are at Hats by Parker right now. We're in his shop, studio, all things creative. If you're looking for a custom hat from scratch just for you, this is the place to do it, especially if you're in Denver, Colorado. It has been a whirlwind of a season for you, my dude.
Yes, sir.
We've been trying to hang since 4 months ago, and I've just been so excited for you, just seeing all that's been happening. Do you care to just describe the season that we've been in? We're going to be talking about all things hats, how you even started this creative process. I imagine that this is going to be a great conversation, but describe the past, 4 months, this fall for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy summer. Summer's usually the busiest for us, so we're just, always in the box truck driving, to Wyoming and back, and then, we travel all across the country. We fly to places now, so I had a team that, went to New York and Boston, came back from that, and then we have always parties in the shop, and every day you wake up and see a new message where you're just pumped,
Man, that's sick. It's cool because you have you've gone over a big social media goal. You've gone over 100,000 followers on Instagram, and I feel like that's a big mile marker because for me, when I see that, it's like, okay, this guy has some clout. This guy's doing something. This is worth watching. What has that mile marker that you've passed this fall meant to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. I've actually, started Instagrams and then deleted them or got them hacked and all kinds of stuff, and then finally when I started Hats by Parker Thomas 2 years ago, I just stuck with that Instagram and just, kept pushing through. I wasn't going to, or hopefully wasn't going to get hacked or anything, but I remember just, hitting 100 followers, hitting 1,000, do giveaways every single time I'd hit a mile marker like that, and just, start off by giving 50% off for a hat, or, give a hat away. And then, really wanted to do something cool when we hit 100,000 to do a 3 hat giveaway, and then also got them 3 pairs of boots. And, just from that giveaway, just to see all the comments that entered, over 1,000 people was incredible, and it felt really good. We wanted to have a big 100K party, but we still have so many more events that we're doing, so look out for that. We do want to have a party. I'm actually coming on 10 years shaping hats now, that I started when I was 24, and for my birthday, that's when I started shaping hats. It was around the stock show, and I want to have a big 10-year party for sure.
I don't think many people know anything about hat shaping.
Okay.
I think just in general, right?
Sure.
Like,
no.
It's like, oh, you go to a store, you buy a hat, or you buy this thing online, $40, $50 for a hat online, and it's like, okay. But when you walk in here, you've got stacks of blanks, and then you pull the blank, and you shape it into and you create it into what the person that fits them.
Exactly.
And I love the hat that you have on, because you've just gone way overboard. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Just everything is branded underneath the hat, and you've got all these cool hooey dooey and your symbol and so when I think when people look at the creative process, take even the 100K. You've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen last year.
No, definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen last year. It's been a long time coming, and I bet there's been a ton of different iterations of you. Take us back to your college football days. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You
For sure.
are playing college football for CU and the Buffs, SCO Buffs.
SCO Buffs, baby.
In Boulder, Colorado. And you're playing college football. It's awesome. Tell us about maybe that experience, but maybe less about that, but just kind of how did hat shaping come into your life, and who inspired you to begin to do it?
For sure. Well, yeah, so I grew up an athlete, football, basketball, baseball, And that's mostly because of my mom and my mom's family. They were all about football mostly, and basketball and baseball as well. But, I was always a football player. And, my dad was always the camera guy and filmed everything and make highlight videos of our games and stuff like that. But my dad's from Texas. Anytime I was in Texas, we were out there shooting guns, riding horses and stuff like that, but it was just a totally different atmosphere and culture. So it was fun to do that, but it really wasn't, who I felt I was most of the time. But like, I really did enjoy that stuff. Maybe if I grew up out in Texas, I would have started from the beginning. But when I always wanted to go to Colorado, play for the Buffs, got that scholarship, which was awesome. But had some injuries and stuff, got a chance at the NFL, but didn't make it. And I didn't know what I was going to do next. So my dad told me to come see what he was doing again, because he got back into it. And I didn't even know what it was, but it was hat shaping. And I remember I was walking up to his booth, kind of just watching from afar, watching him shape a hat, and just thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I didn't really know what it was. Just like a lot of people when they come in here don't know about hat shaping. So I was just like that. I was in their shoes myself when I saw my dad shaping a hat for the first time. Made a hat for a pretty cowgirl. Made it exactly like a cowboy hat, started from scratch though, like in an open crown shape. And just thought my dad was like, some superhero or something, to me, because I was like, who is my dad at that point? But walked up and he let me start cleaning and reshaping hats, and got to finally start making one of my own. Yeah. And I wanted one that was more like this hat though, like a flat brim, not so much cowboy. We call them fashion hats, or fedoras, whatever you want to call them. But it's a felt hat that starts an open crown, and you shape it into any style you want. So it didn't have to be a classic cowboy hat with the big taco sides. It could be a flat brim with like a pencil curl. And I started doing it, thought it was super fun, went home and met up with my buddy, and he saw that hat, and he's like, man, the hat's cool, where'd you get it? And I said I made it, and he didn't believe me. So then I was like, no, come to the stock show, I can make you one. And I show up, and my grandpa's there this time, and he's an old cowboy, so he's just like, man, did you change religions? I'm like, what? No, Grandpa, this is like the style, So I had my grandpa fix it up for me though. He's like, here, then let me see it. Let me fix it. And he shaped it into this hat that was perfect now. And, right from there, I didn't know what I was going to do after football. I thought I was going to be a coach, but, I always looked up to my dad and grandpa and wanted to be just like them. So they're my biggest inspiration for sure.
Okay. So your grandfather was the OG.
OG, yeah.
Okay, so he was the
Double
OG
OG,
hat
yeah.
Yeah. So he was the original hat shaper in the family. And then your dad starts picking it up, second gen. And now you're third gen.
Yep.
I think that's a really cool and very old school, but not unheard of these days, of where that kind of generational creativity and tradesmanship, craftsmanship is passed down.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like it kind of just happened. It wasn't forced. It just was natural. You were just kind of drawn to it.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be a third generation hat maker?
It's awesome. Cause even my dad, he'll say, I never thought you would like this. When I was like, why wasn't I doing this right away? Football's always going to be big for me, but no, I mean, it was super fun. We'd go to shows, just my dad, grandpa, and I, us three. We had to set up a booth together, and just watching that, the generations of my grandpa, having to tell my dad what to do, and then my dad tell me what to do, and then just go out and sell hats together, which is something I'll never forget. My grandpa passed a little bit over a year ago, and that was tough. But just thinking about him after I shaped some of these hats today, with the a bull skull or any of these shapes that I'm trying out, I just would love to see what his face would be like seeing some of this stuff.
Yeah, because that's a whole new take.
Yeah,
you've taken it a way different direction than he took it. And I imagine your dad even built off of that foundation. Dude, I think that's actually a huge piece of the creative process is building from the one that taught you how.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know, it's like, and one of the best ways, you know, now that I'm even just thinking about it, one of the best ways to honor those people that have gone before us is to take what they have given us further than they could have taken it.
Yeah, definitely.
But because of them, because they gave you a leg up, because they helped you get you and your skill set and your mindset to where it is today, it kind of expedites that. So it's like, well, you're sure I can go further.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
you figured it out.
Yeah.
You helped me not make the mistakes and learn quicker.
For sure.
Okay, so you're there. You've made your first 2 hats. Grandfather's kind of getting excited about it. Take me to that next, like, okay, so it's not football, which I don't want to overlook that because a lot of people have an original dream, okay, NFL.
Right.
Okay, how did that dream have to die for this other dream to be reborn? And how, like, that's a painful process.
For sure.
Do you care to speak to, like the dreams that people have and, like, encourage somebody that has this dream
Yeah.
like the NFL,
For sure.
and that gets taken away?
Yeah.
How do you inspire them to maybe not stop dreaming?
Right. I mean, it was just crazy to me how, talking about dreams, it was like one day I'm like actually having dreams about football, like, you know, playing in the game and like lose your cleats or whatever. And then it switches over to you're having like hat dreams and you're just like, oh, where's my hat at? I can't find, you know, like it was crazy. So it ended up being like real dreams I was having. But I got, you know, I feel lucky that my dad and grandpa had that transition for me from football because I know a lot of athletes don't know what to do after that. And, you know, it is tough. Like I remember like watching draft day, not seeing my name getting drafted, just being scared as hell. Like, what am I going to do now? I had a girlfriend at the time that she was freaking out. We ended up like, you know, breaking up, but that was because I went actually to play one more season in Italy, which was awesome. but I came back and like, when I first saw my dad shape that hat, I kind of just immediately was like, this is what I want to do now. And I built a website, you know, tried to find a logo, and that was just so fun. Like I always say, like, trying to start a successful business to me was like going and trying to win a championship in sports. So I was like, just let's practice, you know. I remember like taking some hats, like one of these hats you need water, so I'd like go to the bathtub, fill them up in the bathtub, and then just shape them like 50 hats at a time before a show. And then I remember my first pop-up was just like in a bar. I just found it on a website, or I found like events near me. It was called Spread the Word Music Festival at Quixote's down here. And it was just, you know, totally different than the rodeo where my dad had me shaping hats with him. But, you know, it was so fun. Like the thrill of it all, of like, you know, even till today, like going out to Vegas, just getting ready, you know, for a big game. And the Vegas rodeo I'm about to go to is like the Super Bowl rodeos that I worked with my dad and grandpa at that event for like the last 10 years. And then now I get to finally do it with my own company.
Which is wild, right? Like,
yeah, it's wild.
You worked in it, now you're in charge of it, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. We were talking before, and it's like a 10-day rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
And
for sure.
Your box truck is loaded up. Your team's
yeah.
already setting up to, you know, today, and you're like, you got an event tonight that you've got to do here in town, and it's so cool, man.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's where you are today.
Yeah, that's right.
As you think about how that dream adjusted, what would you say to the person that is having that original dream begin to like die, so to speak, or maybe a little dramatic, but maybe it's not something that they thought it was going to be. What would you say to that person?
I would say, you know, take a few days off and then go and try a job at another place and see if you like that. Because I remember when I was down, I wasn't selling hats. I said, I got to get, you know, a job. And I went and to me, it was construction. I went and did construction with a guy, and right after that first day, I said, I got to go back to making hats. Like, it's just my passion. Like, maybe that's your passion for construction or whatever. But for me, the hat thing was just like, I want to do this. Like, I enjoy it. And, even if I'm not making a ton of money right away, I'd rather be going and doing that.
Yeah.
So maybe take a step back. And like, that's what I did. And I remember like, I'm going to stick this out. And like, that helped me out for sure doing something like that. And, it is tough. Sometimes like you get worn out maybe of shaping hats, because sometimes we'll, just be on the go. You just need a break sometimes, like even with my employees, there's not a lot of us, and sometimes we're overworked or we're not enjoying it as much. So, it's okay to take a break.
Yeah. Like go to an Alaska cruise.
Like go on Alaska cruise. I know. That's ended up being like work too, honestly.
Hey.
It was fun, but dang.
Oh, you for real worked on it?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was vacation.
No, we worked on that one.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was hard to balance like vacation and work. I kind of got in trouble the first day because they had to come and say, okay, we're on, you're working. I know it feels like vacation. So, I had to try to set a better example for my employees.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were on vacation. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no.
No. Hey, but honestly, if you can figure out how to do both and manage that,
Oh, for sure.
I mean, isn't that the dream?
Yeah, that is the dream for sure.
Like,
we do a lot of cool stuff that's like, going to these high-end ranches. Like, sometimes it is work still. Like you have to drive out, maybe 5 hours away, then set up, sell hats, and then, we go home pretty much right in the morning. But we do have some time where you get to appreciate it all, like even the drive, you got to appreciate that drive out there.
Yeah. I want you to speak to something. And I want everyone to like understand what you just said, because I thought it was really valuable. Mm-hmm. Just a few seconds ago, you were talking about if someone's lost the dream, they're struggling, whatever, or maybe they found something that they were or could be passionate in.
Yeah.
But they don't know if that's going to be the thing they want to commit to. Take a step back. Take a few moments, gain some perspective, and then evaluate.
Yeah.
Like, know where this takes you. Look ahead.
Yeah.
Where is this going to take you? Know where this takes you. Look ahead.
For sure.
And let's be a little bit logical. And what would we want to do? Something that I've found lately that I've really loved to talk to people about is, what's a better story worth telling? Because if you only get one life, what story are you trying to tell?
For sure.
What story do you want your life to tell? Like right now, you're on a story, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like
for sure.
we got a story to tell. And I love that you're allowing me to like have this conversation so that we can tell it.
Yeah.
And maybe even get people to be a part of it and feel the product and have a product and get one for themselves, so they can realize like, oh, this isn't just halfway.
Yeah.
This is not just, I'm not just buying a hat off of some rack or off of like some random store. No, this is for me, and it's made differently.
Yeah.
And if someone's struggling and you decided to go all in, okay? You said practice was actually really key for you.
For sure.
Before you went and did these big events. So you would do 50 hats at a time in your bathtub.
Yeah.
Or like because they needed the water. And
for sure.
That is so cool. So after you go from construction, I'm all in, I'm making 50 hats at a time just to make sure that I have the skill set to perform and to get a product that solves someone's problem. The problem is simple. It's they want a hat. So they want a great hat, they're going to come to you. You want an average, okay, fine, hat that's not going to last a long time, go to someone else.
Yeah.
You want a hat to last for a long time that you can be proud of, come to you.
For sure.
At least that's how I view it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing this. What is that next big hurdle for you, that big step? You've committed, you're practicing. What's that next big step for you?
At that time?
Yes.
Was actually just, setting up events and going after it. Like, I did say we have to practice, but a lot of that practice is, just going out to the event too. Like, I wasn't afraid. I had those hats that helped me practice and stuff before, but, I could sit there and practice and practice and practice. But the real way I learned was going to an event and having real customers come up to you. I also practiced like on my friends and family first, like always sold hats. Yeah. My mom is the hardest hat I ever had to shape for, but anyways.
Wait, why is that? Why is that?
Oh, she's
picky.
She's a difficult customer anyway, but like, she's picky and like, you really have to tell her, what you're doing. There's like a part on the process where I'm like having them pull the hat down to mold the top of their head. And she's like, it's not going down. I'm like, just pull a little harder. And she just pulls it like all the way over her face, and just is like this. And I'm like, okay, let's start over,
You just ruined that hat.
And yeah, but she's the best. But like, yeah, that practice with friends and family was good for that. But the best was just like going out there and you're just learning as you go at an event, because real customers is the best practice. Even if like a lot of people I've taught do this, that they're afraid to like, cut their first brim or brand their first hat. It's because they just haven't done it. And like, you're just going to sit there, we can take some practice hats and do it first. But, I've cut plenty of hats where I messed up in front of a customer and just ate it and like fixed it the best way I could. And it's all going to be okay. It's just a hat. But another thing like that helped me out though was my dad and grandpa, because when I first, saw him shape a hat, my grandpa taught me a little bit. I thought I knew everything and just went out there and, I was selling hats and stuff, but it wasn't until I had to go back to work for my dad that I kept learning more and more and like, learning the right way to do things. And, it's pretty sweet to have those guys. And like in our industry with hats, there isn't a lot of people that are willing to give up that information. Right. A lot of safeguarding and stuff like that. And, we started a company called Hat Masters that allows people to find a school to come and learn what we do. Just like every student that comes in, they had the same questions that I did, and get to learn that from my dad and me is pretty sweet.
No, yeah, you had good coaches.
Yeah.
Were you ever afraid? Did you ever have any like fear that came up in like?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What did that
look
like?
So for me, it was, I remember I was always at the rodeos cleaning and reshaping and selling like mostly pre-shaped hats. But I like to do the crowns at least. I felt comfortable doing those, but the brim shaping was the hardest for me. And I was like always, pass the hat off to one of my other dad's shapers in the company. But I was just always afraid, like, I can't shape the brim. I can't shape it like the way they wanted to. Until I got super busy one day that if I didn't do it, then he'd lose money. So I just like saw that and I'm like, now's the time, got to do it. And just like grabbed the hat, kind of just took all the skills that I like watched and learned from all the other shapers, and wasn't afraid to just pull that brim down and shape it. And, I'd ask the customer if they liked it. Most of the time they said yes. And if anything, I did have like some of those other shapers or my dad check it out and make sure it was good. But, my dad is like probably the like proudest moment he ever had of me when it was so busy. And he's like, that hat looks good. Like, who shaped that? And he's like, that kid over there. And he pointed at me and he's like, no way. And then, we went out to eat after that. It was awesome.
So you had pressure, and I think that's really cool because that made you nervous to shape the brim.
Yeah.
You had pressure and you wanted to follow through and like perform to help.
Right.
It was a serving thing.
Yeah.
You were trying to serve the team, your dad, and that's a really cool way to overcome fear. Is if we are afraid, then don't do it for yourself.
Right.
Maybe if you're fearful, start serving somebody else in the area that you're afraid of, because if they need, then maybe you can help and come through.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
You said it.
Definitely. I said it. Dang. No.
That's really good, dude.
Super true.
One of the coolest ways to overcome
anything, really. Right. Yeah.
If you think about it, is one of the coolest ways to overcome is to serve.
Yeah. Love that.
And that is selfless. And honestly, and sacrificial, which helps you gain the skill set again that you need to be able to keep stepping into maybe the dream that wasn't even formulated yet.
Yeah.
Because you weren't thinking about this probably when you were there.
For sure.
You were just trying to become a hat shaper, the best hat shaper you could. Well, when you do that and now you've got these skill sets. When did you take a big step? What's that next big step for you getting here to where you are today?
Man, I feel like the next biggest step was, I don't know if we got into it at all, but I started a company originally with a buddy of mine. I worked with him a lot and my dad, going back and forth between that. Kind of got pulled in all directions that I just finally decided I need to do something on my own. It needs to be mine. I need to do it my way, So I finally took that step of I'm going to start my own company and I'm going to name it after myself. It's going to be called Hats by Parker Thomas. And, that way, no way anybody can take that away from me or, it's all on me at this point.
Right.
I wanted it to, good or bad, it's on me. And that was the next step I had to take. I had to just take full ownership of myself and my company and just, go after it on my own, which I always felt like I needed somebody else, to do it. But, now as an owner, I definitely feel the way I felt like my dad was feeling when I was his employee. Now I got some employees that I can definitely, can see it through my dad's eyes and, try and help them out the same way my dad did. But even that with shaping and stuff, I try to take that even further as being a boss. What ways that I could do it differently, compared to the way he did it.
Oh, right. You learn from that.
Yeah.
What to do and what not to do.
Exactly.
Or what you didn't feel like was going to be helpful for the direction you're taking it.
Yeah.
And which is great. I think that's a powerful thing because no one's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people that really pour into us and love us and care about us, that's what they want, is they don't want us to necessarily be exactly like them.
Right.
To be the best version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you have this company, and you are, 100K, all these things, it's awesome. What do you think is the next big hurdle for you?
Next biggest hurdle would probably be right now I have kind of, if I look at it from my dad's business, he has 3 ways of selling hats. One is online, and that's the one that I'm missing. And then the rest is a store and doing pop-ups or rodeos and stuff like that. But my next hurdle is trying to conquer this online hat shop.
That's going to be unique for you because you're so custom and you're so relational. Right. You're trying to learn the customer. How is that gonna? I feel like that's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah, it's tough. My dad actually, if I followed it the way he does it, I'd do it really well. But I, still think of different ideas. He's crushing it. Probably should just copy him. He said we could and all that. But we want to do it a little differently. There's just, it takes more time and more employees, and I've seen it when I was working with him, how much online takes. It takes a whole nother, section of the company to do that.
Yeah. You'd have to hire at least a few people.
Yeah, for the customer service, just on the phone, and there's returns involved and all that. But if I want to grow and stuff like that, that'd be a big one. And then other hurdles is, if I want to open up more shops somewhere. Where right now I have this store in Haven in Cherry Creek, and then another shop that I opened up. It's inside Ghost Saloon. It's a speakeasy bar over on Lermer. So that's the second one that we have in Denver. And then there's talks about us having a shop on Tennyson as well. That'll be more of a hat bar with my name out front and all that stuff. So that'll be cool. But yeah, those are big decisions because, right now I'm pretty lucky that I can just rent out of this spot in Haven, and the one in Ghost, they kind of run it all themselves. But this one, I'd have to do a big build out and 10-year lease and all kinds of stuff, so it's a little scarier. So making those decisions is tough now.
That would probably be, I imagine that may be a little more like headquarters.
Yeah.
Instead of maybe this one or something like that.
It's hard because, I really love this area. Haven definitely did a lot for me when I needed a space.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we have the little spot in the back if you want to rent it out, and it was really good deal and stuff like that. And, I live close down to Cherry Creek, but, still it would be nice to have a place of like our own that's on Tennyson that has like, my name out front, and it is Hats by Parker Thomas's shop. And it'd also be a bar too, which would be sweet. So, I don't know. That's in talks too. I'm also, really working with my brother who helped start Hat Masters, our other company, with my dad.
Yeah.
And, that's just been taken off. Like, it's really fun and stuff like that because I get to, kind of be a coach and mentor to all these. We have over 100 students that went through our program that have their own hat shops all across the U.S. And, there's a bunch in Hawaii and like Canada and stuff, which is sweet.
Oh man, that's
really pushing this thing forward and making it even like a bigger impact, which is sweet.
Yeah, so that's like an actual school.
Yeah,
where people can learn to shape.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that virtually.
No, they'll come do a 3-day intensive class, and we teach them the basics from like how the hats are made until they're like shaped, and then we also go in depth about like how to run a pop-up and how to start a business and like how to buy inventory and tools, and it's pretty sweet. Like we definitely have like a little group of 100 people that are all hat shapers that went through our class, and it's pretty sweet to push that forward from like my grandpa, my dad, to me, and now teaching people is insane.
Oh, it's so cool.
That's cool.
That's a great addition.
Yeah.
I'm sure it makes you better too.
Oh, for sure.
Because the better that you can teach it, the better that you know it, have the skill set, and makes your team, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
And then you can look for people like, do you want to join the team?
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, I have some people that I'm going to Florida for New Year's, and we've taught a couple people out there, so they're going to come work for me out there.
Yeah.
So it's definitely pretty sweet.
No, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think people understand the scope of who you've worked with, what's actually happened here with this. Who are some really cool, fun people that the listener may know that you've actually made hats for?
For sure. Yeah, definitely got to shout out Reba McEntire every time.
Reba, the queen of country.
And that was like the best.
Gosh.
That was like probably like I put on a video on TikTok where I was like, look who I made a hat for. And then someone commented, well, this is your made it moment. And like it did feel like that because at that time it was right when I was leaving my dad's company, starting my own. The story behind that's pretty sweet where I made a hat for a buddy of mine. Way back in the day when I was first making hats, and he made it for a girl coming from New York, and he wanted this hat to resemble his love for her. And 5 years later they're getting married and want me to pop up at their wedding in Santa Fe. And it was right when I was leaving my dad, so I took off, made hats at their wedding, crushed it, really found that joy of having my own thing again. But the event coordinator from that wedding ended up being an event coordinator at Brush Creek Ranch, which is like the biggest ranch that I work with, one of the biggest ranches. And it was that first event. It was called Celebrity Adventures. So it was like Reba McEntire and like her whole friend group from the Reba show. And that was so sick. And then like, a couple other celebrities. I don't know, Grant Cardone, maybe if you know him, and like a couple other people like that, which is sweet. And then, from there, slowly just like would randomly get a message like, hey, do you want to make a hat for Kevin Hart or like Future and Aaron Gordon? And, I have a list. I got to always look down and see like, and remember who I made one for. One of the coolest ones was for the lady who is the voice for Bart Simpson. Yeah.
The lady who does the voice.
Yeah, Nancy
Bart
Cartwright.
Simpson,
Yeah. She's awesome too. She like one of those celebrities, probably because she's behind a cartoon, but like just openly said like, do you guys like Bart Simpson? Like, yeah. And then she's like, does the voice, I don't want to butcher that, but she crushes it. We're like, no way. So she was really fun. And stuff like that. It's really fun to make hats for the celebrities and stuff. I made some where I didn't get to meet them that you don't know if they even wore them, but we got the opportunity to like, send it to them and hopefully they wore them.
Yeah. It was like a gift.
It was a gift. Yeah. We work with Ball Arena. Sometimes they'll hit us up for a concert that'll come by, like Bad Bunny. We made a hat for Bad Bunny, but I never have a photo of Bad Bunny in that hat. So can't really say that I I did or not, but I'm gonna say I did.
Someone told me I did.
Someone said it.
I was
There's a
unsure.
picture in his locker room of the hat sitting there.
I don't, you probably don't remember this. You didn't do other things. I think I was in here the other day when you had that crazy box for the hat you made for Future.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, I was like, what is this box that this hat goes in? You're like, oh yeah, open it up. And I was like, and I opened it up. It was this crazy hat. And you're like, guess who that's for? And I was like, dude, I have no clue. You're like, that's for Future. It was like,
It was awesome.
It was like a burgundy red, like huge.
Yeah, no, it was pretty sweet to do that for him. And Von Miller, we made one for him. I think that was the burgundy one. Was Von Miller.
Okay.
But the black one that we did for Future, that was a cool story too. Because remember that hat that I told you that my dad or my grandpa was like, "You change religions or whatever." It was actually, I was like, I want a hat like Future, and that was like right when I first started. So to make a hat for him was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
Came full circle with that one. But my dad, even when I was telling him I was making one, he's like, "The Future?" He was calling him
the Future.
Future's the best. So.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Okay, so something else that you have done that I think is really unique to you is your video work.
Oh yeah.
Videography, creativity. Yes, social media, Instagram, TikTok. Right. We people can kind of conceptually grasp that. But I think with you, one of my favorite videos that you showed me that you did was the one for Aaron Gordon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when you went to his spot, and he wears that hat all the time, I think.
Yeah.
Or he wears it
does,
to games, and it's like
for sure.
It's like one of his favorite hats. And so, how has videography, or how do you view videography when it comes to what you do?
Yeah, I mean,
it's in your glasses right now.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I got the
You're
Ray-Ban
videoing this
Meta
right
glasses. Record everything. But no, it stems from like when I was playing football and the highlight videos my dad made for us, and then I'd help him make them.
Yep.
Like that's the same way I feel like when I'm doing an event or making a hat, the process is just like a highlight reel of it, you know? So I just really like to look back at those videos, especially when I first started. I can see, videos of events I've done and just have those memories is so cool. And, with social media, that's a big thing these days for any small business. Like a lot of small business owners that have been small business owners for a long time. I saw like a meme or something saying like, I didn't know how to be a content creator at, 70 years old or whatever, So it was like, it's just like a process that I really enjoy. And I've got to work with some videographers. Garrett is the one. He's actually Aaron Gordon's official, photographer and videographer for him. So his connection with that was huge. I have to shout out DeAndre Jordan, though. He was the first Nuggets player to come in and get the hat. And that was one of the coolest hats I ever made. He wanted a wolf paw on the top. So I was like, I can do it. Like anytime somebody comes into the store.
Yeah.
If anybody
I've done that before in my life. Oh, sure. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, my employee Taylor will say that. Like Parker says, like he just says yes to everything and like figures it out. And that's why I think like that fear of saying like, no, I can't do it. You can't do that. You just got to try. And like, if you mess up, you just like say, okay, well, I guess I couldn't do it, but at least I tried. Right.
Yeah.
So what was your question again?
No, it's okay. I got excited about the wolf paw.
Oh, the wolf paw.
I got excited about it.
That was definitely my favorite hat I ever made.
But now you do that.
Yeah.
Now you do crazy stuff on the top of hats.
Right. Yeah.
Which came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think what's really powerful for you is what you just said. I'm a yes man, and then I figure out how to do it.
Right.
It's like, well, it's just a problem to solve for, and if we can't, then we'll just tell the customer. But has there ever been a moment where you said, yeah, I can't? After you said yes. Yeah,
I did a hat for a guy. I feel like I could still do it, but I messed it up, and like he was in a wheelchair. He wanted a wheelchair symbol in his hat, and we painted it and all that. And then when I was burning it, the paint wasn't burning like normal. So like I had to keep putting some more torch or flame to it, and ended up burning through the hat. So I was like, dang it. So I kind of screwed that one up. But then I said, maybe we can put something underneath it and stitch it. I never did that before, but I thought it'd be cool, put it all together. And then at the end, he just, said he didn't like it. So, there's moments like that where you just got to push through, and like, I kind of maybe make the mistake of saying yes, I can do it, and then mess up. But I think it's better than just saying, no, I can't do it right away,
Yeah, you're testing your limits.
Yeah.
And like, oh, okay, I haven't taken it here yet. I messed up, but I still think I can.
Yeah,
I love
sure.
that. It's like,
Yeah.
I still think we could do that. But I definitely learned how not to do it.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most outrageous hats I ever got asked to do was for a professional beatboxer, and like he wanted a way where you could detach the hat and beatbox off of it, and like beatbox off of the hat, and then be able to attach it again. And I remember sitting there like, yeah, we'll figure that out for sure, just like having no idea how. And unfortunately, like he thought he was getting the hat for free, so later on he just messaged, he's like, oh, I can't really afford that hat. So we never ended up doing it. I almost wanted to do that for free. Like some of these hats that I do, if I haven't done the shape yet or anything, I won't charge more for it. Like I'll just charge you what I usually charge the shape of classic hat, just so until I get comfortable, maybe I'll start charging more for that stuff. But to me, it's fun.
No, yeah, it's so fun. And there's so many different things that you add. Like you have this book of cards. You got the animal tracks so that you can actually look at what the track is. Because,
for sure.
You put, you shape the top. Like this one right here. Like what is this? What is this one?
Yeah, so I'm a big roulette wheel fan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we're going to Vegas for NFR. And it's also kind of cool, like when I do Hat Masters, like the final day of class, we let them take a hat and shape it into whatever they want. And then I also will shape a hat into whatever I want to. So I just always try to find something different. And usually at that moment, it's like something that I'm thinking about or like is on my mind. So Vegas was on my mind, and I just made this as like a good luck hat. And we actually, when we did the 100K giveaway, we brought out a roulette wheel, spun it, and whatever number it landed on, that was the winner. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then you've got the
buffs.
The buffs.
Yep.
You got a buffalo head on top of that hat.
For sure, yeah. That's a variation of a buffalo for sure. I've done different ones. I've actually shaped the Ralphie logo into the hat. That one actually came out really good.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And like, I think if you were to sum up what you do, if you could do that, sum up like, because you're not like, this isn't your dad's shaping business. This isn't your grandfather's shaping business. Have you ever seen a business that is hat shaping like you, like what you do?
There are definitely some super skilled artists that I watch their videos and I can't do what they're doing. Like, I didn't go to an art school or anything. I don't know if they even did or not, but some of those things like with painting, I can't draw. So like there's wood burning and like people who can just not have to look at a photo and just in their mind can just, draw anything they want.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
So I see some artists out there that are designers that, man, I just wish I had that skill.
Yeah.
But a lot of the shaping, I don't see a lot of that. So I'm kind of, pushing that as far as I can take it. And that's what sets me apart, I think, for sure.
Okay, so if you were to describe that for somebody that maybe doesn't understand, you don't. And how I view this is maybe you have less of the professional art side, but you're an artisan maybe.
Yeah.
Like you are going to shape and fit the hat well and create something, and then add a lot of really cool details. Like
sure.
you're a super detailed guy.
Yeah.
How would you describe what sets you apart? Maybe at length. Like why would someone come to you instead of that artist?
For sure. I feel like I'm, like most importantly, I'm a universal hat shaper. So that stems from shaping hats at rodeos and stuff like that. The cowboys are super particular about their styles, and there's so many different names that, if a cowboy came in and was, kind of checking us out and just like, our style's a little differently, so they might not think that I could shape a proper cowboy hat. Yeah. And that's just what happens in our business that you get a lot of. But I have the confidence and the skills and like, the the generations that I can go off of and say like, well, I got my grandpa shaped hats till the day he died for like 60 years with my dad. And I kind of have that confidence and clout, whatever you want to say, that I could do that. And what sets me apart is like the customer right after that could come in and say, hey, I want a wolf paw on the hat. And like, I want, some people might look at an artist like Cody Johnson. I want a hat like Cody Johnson's, or somebody might come in and say, I want a hat like Future. So like universally, I can do all those things. That's what sets me apart.
Oh, dude. Also, can I give you another one?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard you say this so many times.
Yeah.
And, we haven't hung out like too much together, but I've heard you say this a lot. You listen to the customer.
Oh, for sure.
You are great. And I've heard you say this, that the customers are actually the most creative.
Oh, for sure.
And so I'm just available, almost like you're a tool to be used to help the customer find what they're looking for.
For sure.
And dude, I just want to give you some like clout and like encouragement in that. You genuinely put the customer first and you value them.
Definitely. Yeah,
and
they're the most important. Like anything, like anybody will ask me like, what's your favorite part of hat shaping? And it's the customer.
Sure.
Like the people that come in with their stories and all that stuff. Like that's something I always thought about doing, like a podcast or, something like that, where they come in and, just listening to, like, it doesn't have to be the celebrities, just like the normal person that like why they're getting a hat. And, I've just had tons of stories where people come in with like something about their grandpa too. And like this lady just came in and she had a hat that she had a picture of her wearing her grandpa's hat, and she just wanted a hat like that. Had no idea how to get one exactly the same. So she came in here and I was like, you came to the right spot, like I got that for you. And like, we just recreated that hat for her, and, she started like tearing up, and stuff like that. So to me, I was like even tearing up myself, cause that's what I like am about, is like the customer first. And then, luckily, I can make some money off this stuff, but I just think it's so fun to like meet those people, and like hat people are the best people, I think.
Hat people are the best.
Yeah, they're the best. They're always a story. They're a character just like me. So I think that's like my ideal customer is like myself, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. What's the story that you want to tell yourself, kind of maybe at the end of, your career? You're handing it off or whatever. What's the story that you'd like to tell yourself?
Yeah, I hope I have a grandson that has stories like I have about my grandpa and my dad. Like I want to keep pushing this forward. I have some nephews. We've had them in some videos and stuff like that, which is so super cool. Hopefully they get in sports and stuff like that. But like, if anything, it'd be super sweet to have them work in the store. And, I even have, my dad got remarried, and I have like some step brothers and sisters. And then there's this little kid. I wouldn't even know what you'd call the step sister's son. Anyways, he's like another like little nephew to me right now. His name's Ryan, and he's just like grew up in that hat shop. Like they have a nursery for him there, and he's just like cruising around. And it's just like cool to see. I hope one day, that's my dream, is to go to the 4th generation and 5th generation with this hat stuff and just see where it goes from here. But no, regardless if that happens or not, like I could just see what we're doing with Hat Masters is just like we're all family in that too. So just like they call me every day with a question that I had like back in the day, or like, we even feed off each other. They can teach me some things too. So it's sweet.
Is this a picture of you, your dad, and your grandfather right there?
Yeah, there's my grandpa Dewey. It's my dad Glenn, and then that's me. It's probably like my first NFR. I think that was about 8 or 9 years ago, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
That's a great picture. I'm glad I'm glad. That's a good one to have in.
A lot of good pictures.
That's a good one to have in the store, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So if someone's maybe not as interested in hat shaping, I'd love for you to like hit on kind of what we were talking about earlier. Is like, what would you say to someone who's trying to be creative but hasn't made it yet? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I think like, for me, I did have to drive for Uber for a little while just so I could do what I actually wanted to do until that started taking off. But, if if I'm sitting here like in my shop and there's nobody here, I like to get up there, take a hat and shape whatever I want into it and just try it out. And like, I just enjoy that. It's like a hobby to me. You know, I'm doing like my dad's quote is for Hat Masters is like, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I told him like, if you do what you love, you'll work every single day of your life. But if you haven't made it yet, I mean, just like, you know, just do what you like you're creative at. Like for me, it's hat shaping. I'm just going to get up there and shape it, and, you know, I'm going to post it. And like, you're not going to be the only person that likes that, you know, unless it's just outrageously different, but that's not even possible. I think like for me, when I got into this business, I was like, I can't be the only person that likes this style hat. Like I would just, you know, I mean, it's not going to take off right away where you might only see like one person likes it, but like, that's just one other person that to me is going to enjoy that art.
Yeah, no, exactly. And what I think I see with you too, and how you describe the story and everything has come together.
Mm-hmm.
Like your sports background, working hard, working for something, being on a team, the difficulty, the training, the practicing, right? All of that's come together.
Yeah.
And it's just, it helped you got a set of skills that now you use in a different way, in a different medium.
For sure.
And then it's like you were helping because of football and because of sport, you were also a part of highlight reels.
Yeah.
And so that's also come in and you're
TikTok
and then that's you actually growing a TikTok understanding and a Instagram understanding and a social media understanding. And it's like all of these things have come together, and none of it was a waste.
Yeah, for sure.
You haven't wasted anything
No.
that you've actually gone through.
For sure.
And I love that because you actually learned, and now you're applying and you're taking it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Which I think is so encouraging.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I think definitely what I learned in football has helped me with my business for sure. Just like hard work and showing up on time and like, you know,
showing up early,
finishing the day, you know, stuff like that. And like adversity, like when I hurt my knee and stuff, having to rehab and all that, you know, stuff like that happens all the time. Like every day there's something that goes wrong. Either it's like the steamer breaks down or the truck breaks down, and just like pushing through that and like overcoming adversity is like something I take away from football. So, I think it's all coming together now that there's always the fear of like, okay, hats are cool. Now they're not going to be cool. So like my dad even says like, this isn't going to last forever sometimes because, you know, it's a trendy thing. So like he always brings up like cowboys are always going to wear hats. That's why you should stay in this market. But like, I'll still be able to make hats for cowboys and stuff. But like, if I don't keep pushing it further and like keep posting about it and stuff like that, I think it could die out. But, you know, I think hats are going to stick around for a while.
No, I think so too, especially because they're really blank canvases.
Yeah. There's so many different hats too, because I'm not just like a cowboy hat or felt hat or straw hat, but I like, you know, ball caps, all kinds of stuff like that. And it's all around fashion too. So I still want to see what also I could do instead of maybe hats by Parker Thomas. Maybe it's, you know, jackets by Parker Thomas, whatever you want to talk about. Like, I just feel like, I just think this hat thing is the coolest thing and the thing I enjoy the most. But, you know, seeing what this might turn into like 10 years from now, I'm not sure.
Oh man, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's almost Christmas time. So why does somebody need to maybe even check out what you're doing? Because they may be looking for a last minute gift.
Yeah.
Help us out with that. Last minute gift. What should I get?
Yeah. So my favorite, ever since I started was doing a buy one, get one half off deal. And it's also 25% off gift cards online. But it's just a fun experience. Like every year we have, you know, couples or friends or family all come here, corporate events, and they come have their holiday party with us and get a hat made. And, you know, you're allowed to have like food and drinks in here and just have a party. And it's just like a lot of fun having an experience like that. Yeah. I even know it's hard for me to try to find a place like what we're doing for my company holiday party. Like I'm trying to find an experience for them, and it's kind of cool to see like that's one thing we can provide people to actually have a, an immersive experience.
Yeah. So like creative
Mm-hmm.
mixed with a product that
Yeah.
they get to have
Mm-hmm.
and then just have fun.
For sure. And the memories that, come after that, I always feel like, hats to me are like kind of like Toy Story to me. Like the hats on the wall just like wants to be worn, wants to be,
Yeah.
wants to build memories with you, and you just get that hat made. And then my favorite thing to see is where those hats are going after that. Like
Yeah.
on social media, it's awesome to see all the people that tag us and all that stuff. So it'll start here in this room, create that hat for you. And then, hopefully you'll have that hat just like other people that had, like my grandpa's hats. We still have all his hats, but people that bring those in and just like want them fixed up, and like the memories those hats have in them are, timeless.
Yeah, timeless and kind of priceless.
Yeah,
because
priceless too.
because of the person that wore them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an
and all that.
investment too. I mean, it's not cheap by any means, but you're paying for what you get. And like I'm someone who knows about hat quality and stuff, so like having a hat, I want the nicest one because I know it's going to last longer. Like this hat's not going to break and wear down as much as some other hats you might get at, online or something. And just like if you see my hat, anything on this is like a memory or means something to me too. So I like that.
Yeah, you were saying earlier I may have gone a little overboard
Yeah,
on
a
this
little
one.
overboard on this one with the playing cards and stuff, but just try to do something different. I had a hat, my other hat, I had to put it away, but I keep grabbing it to wear it because I love it so much.
Yeah.
But I finally like put that one down, got this hat started out at the beginning of the year, and this is what it's turned out to be. Like I need a before and after picture of the next one that I do for sure.
Yeah, you should maybe it's like a new hat every year and you just add to it as you go.
Yeah, I know. I've gotten some funny comments. Like that's one thing about hats. You gotta have confidence for sure, because like people come up when I first started saying like, "What's up, Indiana Jones?" and stuff like that. But I always took that as a compliment. I was like, "You think so?" Like, no way.
Yeah, I do save the day. What are you talking about? You know me. Sheesh, that's what I do, man. That's what I do. That's what
One
I
girl
do.
was like, "Your hat looks like a Boy Scout with all his patches," and stuff. I was like, "Oh, man." Well, it is kind of like that, I got to take that like, "Oh, for real."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, Boy Scout.
We'll get all that stuff, but like it's actually like funny to see how like those comments back in the day now turn like country's cool again type of thing or whatever. Where I'm like, I told you, but
No, that's sick, man. That's sick. Okay, what is take a twist real quick. What is one thing that you are learning that we should all maybe be learning right now, because of your experiences or where you're at? What are you learning right now?
yeah, I mean, I'm learning every single day on the business side of things. Like that's one thing I struggle with the most is being an artist, but I'm not a businessman. I'm like not like I didn't go to school for business but I also wasn't an artist too. So I'm like learning that as I go, But yeah, the toughest part is like with taxes and all that stuff, like trying to find help to do all those things. And luckily, I have a good group. I got a good team that, they each have something different that brings to the company that I've found that just finding more people to surround yourself with that, and really communicate with them. And, just building a culture, that's something that, I always wanted to have when I first started my company. Like, how could I be different? I don't want to just be like going to work every day for a boss that's like you're afraid to come up and say something to. Like, I really think, as a collective, instead of just as a boss, it still feels weird to say that, but, I have to be the boss sometimes and make those decisions that are tough. But, yeah, just learning that side of the thing, as being a creative is tough. Like, not all people can be both, which is hard for me. So I'm just like reaching out, trying to learn more and more about that too.
No, that's good. That's good. Is there a question that you ask your team or yourself on a regular basis that's kind of helps keep the hats by Parker away?
Yeah, I try to ask them like daily, like, where do you see yourself in this company in the future? Like, I know it's my name, Hats by Parker Thomas, but like, I don't want you to see it that way. Like, we're one company, and just asking them like, what do you think we can do next? Like, what's your dream of yours in this company? Like mine, I'm a big affirmation guy. Like I wanted to make hats on a cruise ship one day. That happened. I wanted to make a hat for Future one day. I made that happen. So like, the more tough stuff we talk about that, I think it's going to be better in our company.
Yeah. So you've seen like the more that you talk about it and the more that you think about it and work toward it, the more that it actually happens.
Right. Like the 100K followers thing. I'm like, I'm going to make that happen by the end of this year. And it happened. So
Come on.
pumped. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that. Man, Parker, I'm excited about your future.
Thanks, man.
Your whole team, what you're doing, the hats, the future of hats.
Yeah.
The future of made by Parker Thomas, whatever you're making.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for letting us sit down.
Thank you, man. This was fun.
I've always found that the more difficult it is to actually sit down with somebody, the better the conversation, the better the relationship, because there's probably resistance for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's probably of immense value.
For sure.
Man, you're valuable. And,
thanks, man. You too.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for
Appreciate
listening.
you guys.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this has been so good.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Full Vantage Podcast, Hats by Parker. Grab a hat before Christmas.
Yeah.
And, Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. See you guys.
Sit.